Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. If you're just seeing this for the first time, thank you, and I hope that you'll decide to subscribe today. I just want to talk about my weekend, an update from things that I was doing, some things that I experienced, some thoughts that I have on those experiences. Now, this will be a one-take, no-edit video, so stay tuned. It may be in the 10-minute range. It may not be perfect for you, but please bear with me, and if you don't like this one, then watch something else on the channel. That would be fun. I'm welcome to all kinds of feedback, and that's just how it goes. So my weekend, I spent the day with Jay, and Jay runs a channel called Jay's Iyagi. Jay is a very popular YouTube creator and has been for the last number of years, and he has a background in audio that not a lot of people know or even care to even look up when they see his channel. I think a lot of people misunderstand his perspective and his channel as a reviewer. And I spent the weekend or a day at his house because we live in the same city. We have been familiar for a number of years. We frequent the same stores. We're at a lot of the same audio shows. We are part of the same audiophile community, not just YouTube community. I mean, he lives in my city and we've hung out before and we know mutual friends in person. We are closer than most other creators probably are, unless you're talking about Ron and Danny or Youthman and, you know, his crew at Daily Hi-Fi and Joe and Tell and Technodad, or Gene and Don, or Shane Lee and Don. Like, they're not really close, but I mean, Gene and Don both live in Florida. So does Youthman and Don Henley at Home Theater Horizon. And then there's always Aaron at, I don't know, this is not going the way I wanted it to go. You guys get the point. There's a lot of creators in this space and not a lot of them live close by. So me and Jay live close by. Point of the video is to come to a conclusion about my room versus Jay's room. Now, if you've seen Jay's room, and please check out his channel, I'll try to link something in the description after this, which I don't always do, but I'll try to. Jay's Iyagi is his channel. Please maybe check that out. His room is decorated with far less absorption material. I have semi-functional diffusion panels, but these are blackout curtains that I have everywhere, covering a window that's back here. I have corner wedges, 12 by 12 wedges, to absorb some of the bass, but not tuned to absorb the bass. The side walls, the same thing. Ceiling, I have a little bit. However, the ceiling is like a plaster and it has its own resonance. So like any small room, this room has some problems. And listening to the Borson X2s at, where did I heard them at Toronto Audio Fest. I heard them at Florida Audio Fest. I heard the X3s at Expona. I believe I'm going to hear the X6s in Montreal next weekend, which is awesome. I heard them at Jay's place. He recently did a review. They're still at the house. Playing them in the room allowed me to compare them to what I heard in other spaces, as well as hearing my space. And Jay got a chance to listen to my room. And it is absolutely 100% a fact that every room has its own character. And I'm wondering how much of reviewers' opinions and subjective opinions are part of their room and how it sounds, and how much of their opinion is really about the products themselves. Now, I'm going to make a statement and say that at least 50% of their opinion is going to be room dependent. How the room is set up, the gear that it's connected to, we know that everything affects the sound. So after listening to Jay's system and hanging out for the day and discussing a lot of things about audio and reviewing and technique and how to make it as authentic and fair as possible, In his case, he's got a lot more gear than I do, where I have one set of gear, so everything gets compared on one system. He, on the other hand, has multiple pieces of many different kinds, different DACs, different preamps, different power amps, different cables, and he can test and compare all of those, which makes his subjective opinion in my reflection of my time there. He's doing more work in a review than I think most people do in a review, and that's something not a lot of people know. It's not always obvious in every video how much work goes in. So I just want to say that, to kudos to him, and not even just because he lives in the city, but because of the method that he uses. I mean, I don't praise Einstein and Nikola Tesla and Newton and all of these other people like Galileo for their love of fine wine and cheese, or the way they spell their name. I'm not playing favorites because they have a name in a book. I mean, I like what they've done because they were scientific, they were fair, they were creative, they were innovative. These people came to success because they tried a lot of things. That's what people like Jay are doing. They're doing a lot of work to make sure that it's clear and transparent and valuable at the end. Aaron at Aaron's Audio Corner as well, with a Clipple machine, he put an investment in to get a machine that is as objective as possible. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, there's arguments about interpretation, and that's up to the engineers to figure out. But still, you know, people like that are bringing their best work. Ron at New Record Day, same thing. Built a custom room. Even Howard Neller at The Listening Chair is building a custom room dedicated for demos. Like, these are people that are seeing into the future and trying to bring the best kind of content possible. So, at the end of the day, what were my conclusions? 7 minutes in, now I get to the point. I've changed my room a little bit. I've given myself a little bit more hard surface. Now, it looks like absolute trash because I'm not done yet, but I've given myself more reflective surfaces in the back, because what I noticed at Jay's room was he has less absorption everywhere, and it opens the sound a little bit, allows the sound and the differences in timing between the speaker and a far reflection. It creates space in your mind, the way that, you know, Floyd Toole would confirm with psychoacoustics. The timing and your brain and ears' ability to detect timing is very good. If it's up close, like first reflections, floor bounce, the difference between around the tower, which is why they always say if you can pull the tower away from the surrounding walls, the further you move it, the lower the frequency and the longer the time delay between the reflections. It allows the space in your mind and your brain to interpret it like in-room sound rather than interference and direct sound. There's a lot of science to back up what I'm saying here. But the point is really the room and its treatment creates a sound profile. It's not just the products on their own. And to nail down the product's character, you need to test and move and demonstrate and change a lot of things so you can tell what the room is doing opposed to what the towers are doing or what the bookshelves are doing. Or if you have the same towers and bookshelves, then you have to swap cables and A/B test them as fast as possible, or test them with equipment, because your brain does not have the auditory retention that a lot of people may think it does. Of course, you can recognize your children or your parents on the phone when you call and answer the phone. You recognize somebody's voice, but how good are you at detecting the smallest difference? Like, could you tell you can tell the difference if somebody was imitating your parents or children? But could you tell if it was a recording of your children through the phone? Probably not. You know it's them, like I know this is Pink Floyd, but the chances are, could you tell, like, if he was in the room, if David Gilmour or oh my God, I'm going to get so much hate for not knowing his name. Roger Waters? If either one of, I made it, I got there. Don't crucify me in the comments. If they were in the room, could you tell the difference between the recording and their live voice, right? Like there are environmental factors to give us this ability to detect our surroundings as a human animal. And I find that just experiencing a different room, I'm trying a couple things out. I moved the diffusion, or I moved the curtains away so I can get some more reflection there just to see what happens. And another point of interest that I was suggested was to move my towers more into the room, like bringing them far enough into the room so that the change is a drastic change. So like when you're EQing for differences in your space, people will often, I'm going to actually change this song before I get copyright between my speaking. People will often say to use a parametric EQ, if you know what I mean. Then it's, an EQ is typically flat, and when you want to find a problematic area, what you do is you narrow in on the frequency. Imagine this is a frequency response line, like across my table here. And bass is on this side, treble's on this side. So if you have something in the 1K range or whatever, then what you do is you turn up the EQ in a narrow point and you move it around until you can hear like where it starts to be annoying. And then you adjust it based on balance. That's a drastic change in a space. So what you would do is move the tower in like a foot or up by 2 feet and then see how it sounds, and then slowly work it into a space that works better for your preference and for the room. So these are some of the insights that I got from one day hanging out with somebody who's got a plethora of experience in both recording studios, with demo studios, with hi-fi shops, and setting up client systems, as well as reviewing for probably 10 years. I think Jay's been doing it for about 10 years. No confirmation on that. I'm sure he will correct me. So anyways, there is my Sunday night wrap up. I typically do a live to Instagram, but I have just not had it on my mind to do. Today's been a little bit of a recovery day. And I wanted to talk about that, about my room. Making some changes, trying some new things. This system, as far as I'm concerned, maybe except for the CD player, almost everything else in here will probably be replaced in another year. I have some ambitions. I'm gaining some new contacts. I am contacting different brands. With the success of my channel, the more subscribers, the more comments, the more interest. I may start a Patreon. I know that I don't have a lot of followers yet, but it's one way for me to afford different changes in my system and bringing a type of content that isn't bought and sold by brands, isn't paid for by advertising, isn't supported by magazines who have agendas, and like some people they like, some people they don't like, and everybody's, you know what I mean? Like, I want to remain as freelance as possible so I can say and do the things that I want to do that reveal truths about the science and the experience in hi-fi to a community that appreciates it, rather than falling into these holes where the comment section will be like, oh, you don't say anything negative because you're a shill, and you never talk about this because you're biased, and you only like this brand because you like them only. Like, the way around that is to be supported by the viewers. But I gotta say, like, if you're not willing to like the video, if you're not willing to subscribe, if you're not willing to comment on everything that I make, and you're not sending me any money of any kind, then honestly, like, when have you ever done anything for free? Like, when has someone asked you to do something, a stranger if that, and you've been like, yeah, sure, I'll do that for free for you? Like, imagine people asking you to do your job for free. You'd say no. Well, think of YouTube and creating the same way. We all spend time, we all put in effort. A lot of this stuff costs a lot of money. Comparisons are impossible unless I have something. Brands are not interested unless there's a success or at least a lot of traffic with a channel. I don't need to have a lot of subscribers, but I need to have a lot of engagement. So it needs to be viewed by a lot of people, or at least a lot of comments. So the subscribers is fine. 1,000's okay. I'm okay with that. I would like 1 million views. That would be cool. But the interactions are what really pays back, to be honest. So without going into that, I'm just saying how the support helps. If you want to know more about something, like if I'm going to an audio show, I might start a Patreon for people who want to hear about something or see a video, or I can record them a clip, but you're gonna have to like donate a little bit or be willing to support or that kind of thing, because it does cost money. Flights cost money, travel costs money, the food costs money, the hotels cost money, the subscription services I use for storing photographs cost money, the chat programs sometimes like Discord and other types of things cost money. So none of it's free, and I know that we're all on tight budgets, so please be considerate about what you're asking or what you demand of YouTube people, creators. Like, we're all trying to make it work as well. So if it's reasonable and it's respectful, I'm with you. But as far as getting it done for free, let's think about how that works for a second. And free rhymes with Kenny G, and I think on that one, I'm gonna leave this video right now so I can turn this off. All right, thanks guys for watching. That's 16 minutes of me being one shot, one view. Let me know what you think. Comment below. If there's any questions at all, please write them in the comments. That's how this works. That works the best if you just write it down. Forget the subscription button for now. You can like the video, that's cool, but comment and share it, or comment and reach out to me another way. The conversation's important. Yes? Okay, see you guys next time.